Hi everyone, today we will study the subject biology, and the unit that we will study today is organization of life. So in this video we will try to see few things. First, what is the organization in living world? Second, what are the levels of organization and lower level organization and higher level of organization. So these are the things that we will be trying to study in this video. Okay, so let's start. First, let's try to understand that what is organization, right? Before we study the organization in organisms, we first must know that what is organization. In simple words, organization means to organize something, right? Here we organize something, we try to sort out things in a particular way. Okay, so we can say that organization is a systemic arrangement of components in a system that is called as organization. Systemic arrangement means we are arranging things or components in a particular systematic way. So this systematic arrangement of components is called as organization. Then we can say that living things, any living things, that can include different plants, animals, humans, and microbes as well. So all these living things are highly organized. They are very highly organized. Everything is organized inside their body. Let's just take an example that do you see your eye cells are moving around in your body and your hand cells are shaking hand with your leg cells or something kind of that? Do we see? No, right? Because each of the organ and cell in our body is highly organized. So living things are highly organized and structured. That means their structure is firm. We cannot move the structure of our hand. We can break it, but we cannot change it. It's the same. And they follow a hierarchy. That means that in a particular predefined way. That means that a child of a human will always be a child and a child of an animal will always be an animal. So that follows a particular hierarchy that can be examined on a scale from small to large. We can see this type of hierarchy on small kind or small scale or on the large scale. So how that we will see today in this video. So now let's try to understand what are the levels of organization. So we can say that the biological levels of organization, here we are talking about only organisms, right? So that's why we will call it biological levels of organization. We can arrange things at our home, right? We can arrange our books, we can arrange our clothes, we can arrange things in kitchen, but that is the organization of different type. Here in this video, we will be talking about only living organisms organization. So we will call it as biological level of organization. So in this type of organization of living things, here living things are arranged from their simplest to most complex forms and are divided into two levels mainly. Which two levels? So first is lower level and second is higher level. So in simple words, if I want to explain you that, if let's take the example of our body. So how our body is made? So first we have cells. Different types of cells unite together to form tissues. They can be same type of tissues, right? They can be same types of cells. Now different types of tissues as together form different organs, and different organs whole together forms a whole body. So this is how a body structure is formed. So in the formation of, or in the levels of classification, or in the levels of organization, what we study is that how the things, living things, are arranged from their simplest way. Cells are most simplest thing and body is a whole complex thing because there are many different cells, tissues and organs are present in the body. But cell is not very much high complex structure. So we try to study the level of organization from the simple levels to the complex levels. And we try to study them in two ways, lower level and higher level. Lower means something that is lower than organism, right? And higher level means something that is higher than organism. Okay, so let's see this both types. First, let's start with the lower level. What is lower level of organization? So we can say that organizations which are below the level of individual are called as lower level of organization. So this is the image that will help you to understand this in a better way. Now, this is the organism, right? Let's take this is human. So what will be the lower level organization for humans? So human is made up of many types of atoms, right? What we know, what we just discussed is that humans are made up of cells. Many cells come together, form a tissue. Many tissues come together to form an organ, and many organs come together to form an organ system. And as a whole organ system, many different organ systems come together to form an organism. So this is the sequence that we saw. But something is also there even below the cell. What is there? So cell is made up of cell organelles. Cell organelles are made up of molecule or compound, and these molecules are made up of atoms. In simple way, if I like chocolates, so as a whole, chocolate is a big thing. Now, chocolate is made up of cocoa powder, right? So this is the lower level organization for chocolate because it is the previous step. So when we study lower level of organization, we see or we study the levels which are below the individual, right? We just saw here. Then what is there in the higher level? So as you can see here, we can say that organizations at the level of individual and above are known as higher levels of organization, and it represents ecological hierarchy. That means if this is my individual, this is fish, right? Now the fish's population, many fishes are there. So that is above the individual, right? The individual's body is very small in comparison to the whole population. So that is the higher level of organization for this fish. Then many communities are there, then whole ecosystem is there, then whole biome is there, and then the whole biosphere is there. So this is how everything that is above the level of individual is called as higher level of organization. Then let's try to understand lower level of organization in a depth or in a better way. So first, let's try to understand it at chemical level. What is that? So we can say that there are many atoms. These atoms, so what are atoms? If I want to define them, I can say that the atom is the smallest and most fundamental unit of matter or life. So we just saw that cells are made up of cell components. These cell components are made up of molecules, and these molecules are made up of atoms. So we can say that atoms are the smallest and most fundamental unit of matter. The same way, if I talk about body, my cell is the fundamental unit. So when I talk about cell, the fundamental unit of cell are atoms. The examples can be carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, anything that you can name, right? And this is how we can understand them. This is the hydrogen atom, these are the electron shells, and this is oxygen atom. These are the electrons which are present in the outer shell of the oxygen atom. So this is how we can understand atoms. Now next are molecules. So what are molecules? So we can say that the bonding of at least two or more same or different types of atoms form molecules. That means we saw hydrogen here. So more than one, that are two hydrogen forms bond together and form H2. So this H2 is called as molecule. But these two hydrogens are singly called as hydrogen atom, hydrogen atom. And the example can be water molecule, which is made up of H2O. So you can see here that two hydrogen atoms are there, one oxygen atom is there, and as a whole they both form together the water molecule. So this is how one molecule is formed, where at least two or more than two same or different types of atoms are there. Then we can say that what is cell organelle. Now we understood what are atoms, what are molecules. Now let's go to the cell organelle. So cell organelles, we can define them as molecules combine together in a given environmental conditions and give rise to cell organelles. That means many molecules. We just saw something about H2O, right? So there are many different types of molecules which combine together in a particular given environment and they give rise to cell organelles. Now we can say that an organelle is a tiny cellular structure. We can say that cell itself is a tiny structure. So our cell organelle can be very tiny or it can be very small than our cell. So it is a tiny cellular structure that performs specific functions within a cell. So examples can be mitochondria, ribosomes, cell wall, cell membrane, and many other things, right? So these are the examples of cell organelles. You can see nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondrion, centrosomes, lysosomes, ribosomes, and many other things which are present inside our cells. So these are called as cell organelles and they perform specific functions in our cells. Then let's try to understand the cellular level of organization. We first saw chemical level of organization, then we will see cellular level of organization. So what is that? So to understand cellular level organization, we must know that what is cell. So we can say that cells are the structural and functional unit of life because we just saw that cells, they form tissues, they form organs, they form organ system, and as a whole they form the body. So you can say that they are the structural organisms or structural unit of life, and we just saw that cell organelles perform many different functions. So they are the functional unit of life. Then they are known as basic building blocks of all living things. Just compare the cells with the bricks. When you see a large building, you see that it is made up of small bricks. The same way our whole body is made up of small cells. So they are basic building blocks. We can say that the human body is composed of trillions of cells. Many cells are present in our body. There are different kinds of cells. Which kind of cells are there? So let's see them. These are the different kinds of cells. First is the stem cell. I'm just talking about human body here. So stem cell is a cell from which all types of cells are organized or formed. So first let's talk about muscle cells which are present in our muscles, fat cells, then bone cells which are present in bone, blood cells which is present in blood, nervous cell which is present in our brain which connects our whole body, epithelial cells which are present in our skin, immune cells which are present in our body which gives us immunity, and then our sex cells which are present in the gamete cells, right? So these are the organization at cellular level. Now, what is the organization at tissue level? So these are the different types of tissue. As you can see, connective tissue which connects two things, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue and nervous tissue. So we can understand that tissues are the groups of cells that have a similar structure and they work together to perform a specific functions. That means that connective tissues will have similar structure, they will look same, right? And they have specific function, which is that to connect the muscles or to connect the things in the body, right? So these are the specific function of these type of tissues. They are group of the cells. We have to remember this. They are not alone cells. They are the group of the cells, and there are different types of tissues. Then we can see that how the cells forms tissues. We just saw that cells forms tissues, right? So let's see that how tissues are made from the cells. First, cells forming a small tube. How a tube is made? So we can see that these tubules carry liquids from one part of body to the other. Examples are present in the kidney tubule. That means in kidney, there are some tubes are present which is made by cells. So cells are organized in this way. They form a whole tube and these tubes carry different liquids and they transport it from body's one part to the another. The example can be kidney tubules. Next is cells forming an epithelium. So they covers and lines the body surfaces. They are present in the skin. So they covers our body surfaces and cells are densely packed together. Densely means tightly packed together. There is no intracellular or intercellular space between them with minimal amount of intercellular substances. There is no extra packing or substance are present in that. So they are called as epithelial cells and they perform physical or they protect our body from the physical or chemical damage. You see that if something is hurt on your body, then it will first hurt your skin, not directly our tissues, right? So different cells which form the epithelium. Example can be they are present in the lining of mouth cavity, lining of windpipe, air passages, food canal, right? There are many different types of epitheliums. Then next is one kind of a muscle cell. So what do muscle cells do? So their contractions in muscle cells help in moving food along with food canal. That means that they are present, particularly this kind of muscle cells are present in food pipe. So these muscles help in the moving of the food. They are also known as blood vessels, right? And they forms a sheet of muscle tissue. A particular sheet of muscle tissue is formed, and their example is they are present in blood vessels, they are present in nerve fibers and connective tissues and many other types. So these are the cells which are specially performing the functions that their contractions will help moving the food and some blood. So they are closed down to the blood vessels and they form a muscle tissue. Then now cells forming a part of gland. What is gland? So we know that there are many different types of gland. There are thyroid, there are pancreas, there are liver, right? So these are the cells which make chemicals which are released in central space. That means some chemicals are made and they are being released. Hundreds of cell groups to form a gland. Like there are many cells which will unite together to form a whole gland. So they are present in salivary glands, they are present in thyroid gland, liver gland, prostate gland, right? There are many types of gland in our body. Now let's see organ level of organization. What is organ level of organization? So what is organ? Let's first try to clear this. So organ is a group of different tissues that work together to do a particular functions. That means there are cells, different types of cells have made tissues, and different types of tissues have made the organs, right? So the example can be stomach, liver, heart, brain, skin, anything, right? Any organ which is made up of different types of tissues. So you can see the example of the human body, right? So brain is an organ which is made up of many different types of nerve cells. Esophagus, which is made up of many different types of small or smooth cells. Then there are lungs which are made up of alveoli and many other cells, heart, liver, stomach, kidneys, large or small intestine, anything that you name is made up of many different types of cells and tissues. Right, so these all are the organs of our body. Then next, what is organ system? So organ system is a group of organs that work together to perform a certain functions in an organism's body. That can be particularly nervous system, circulatory system. That means I just named brain. So a whole system of brain will work for particular function. Food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine will particularly work for the process of food digestion and nutrition. So that is a whole different system. So this is how different organ systems are made. So this is the figure which will help you to understand that how different organ systems are made. They are connected by nerves and circulatory systems, right? So they connect everything. So this is how organ system is made, and as a whole organ system, in organ system, all the organs will work together to perform a certain function. Then let's see that what are organisms. So we came from cells to tissues to organs to organ systems, and then we are here at organisms. What are organisms? So we can say that organism is formed by organs and systems working together to produce an independent organisms. Examples can be plant and animal. So here all the organ systems are worked together. They are working together. So how? You can see, right? These are different animals, fungi, plants or bacteria. So in all the whole organism, there are many different cells, tissues, organs, organ systems and many other types of things which are working together to form as a whole body. So this is how organisms are made, and this is the sequence that we just studied. Now let's see what are the possible questions which can come from the thing that we just studied. The first question is, what is the systemic organization? So we can say that systemic organization is arranging the organisms in a systemic way. That is the systemic organization. Next, explain different level of organization. So here you will be explaining lower and higher level of organization, and you will be particularly explaining what are cell level organization, chemical level, cellular level, tissue level, then organ level, organ system level, and then whole organism. So these are the different level of organization. Now, how cells form tissue? So we just saw there are different types like muscle cells and all. So you will try to explain all these types of tissues. So thank you so much. I hope I made you understand these things in a better way. Thank you so much for watching this video, and for more videos like this you can visit WASSCE.com. Till we meet again, take care, stay safe, and bye bye.